gosh, I didn't make a video last week! Ah! I'm so sorry, you guys. I didn't make a video last week. I'm starting to kind of feel the blows of having a one video every Sunday schedule. I'm going to go ahead and change the schedule right now. One video a week at least. It doesn't matter what day it's on, it's going to be a video a week at least. I might upload two, but you know what? Right now, I'm just going to go for one video a week at least. So, yeah, at any time of the week, you could expect a random splash with DC Lesh. So anyways, last week I was planning on making a Pure Mix tutorial, but it broke in the middle of the tutorial. So yeah, I'm not going to be making that until I get a new Pure Mix. So instead, this week I'm going to be teaching you guys something that's a little bit more interesting. I'm going to be teaching you how to do the Ortega method on the 2x2. Now, why am I doing this? Well, because first of all, the Ortega method is an awesome method, and second, I most recently bought a new 2x2 from my friend, which should be here in a few days, so you're going to see an unboxing of that. So, yeah, I got it for him, and he's been trying to solve the 2x2 for a while now, and this video is probably going to help him, because I'm getting him a LAN, and I'm going to teach him the fastest method that I know. I'm serious, guys, this is the fastest method that I know for 2x2. It's actually very simple, and yeah, so let's go ahead and get to it. I don't know what that was. That was supposed to be some sort of a transition, but let's go! Alright, so first of all, what do you need to know in order to solve the 2x2 with the Ortega method? Well, not much. All you need to know is what color scheme your cube has, which I went over last week, or 2 weeks ago. And you need to know the notation, and if you don't know the notation, click here, and I'll explain it to you. So, yeah, I guess that's really all you really need to know. So let's go ahead and scramble this thing up. Alright, that was an awesome scramble. Alright, so first of all, pick a side, any side. I'm going to choose the white side. Anyway, so just find two corners that you can pair. Here's one. And here's another. So, you just bring them up. Now you're going to try to find another one. Here's one. Now here's a case that you might have. In order to bring it up, you have to move another one out of the way. What you do is you move these two out, push this one up, and bring it down. Now I encourage you to try to figure this out on your own, but if you can't, you know, it's no big deal. So here's another one. You have this, you want to put it up here. And there we go. So that's the first step. And yes, the first step is literally just solving the top side. You do not have to make sure that it's permuted the correct way. We're going to worry about that later. Now we're going to go ahead and work on the bottom side. Now there are 7 different cases for the bottom side. So we're going to go over all 7 of those cases right now. The first cases that we have are the soon cases, and that's the case where only one corner is facing up. Now in this case, this is the forward soon case. You have one corner facing up, and when you hold it so that the corner is in the bottom left of the top side, the corner right next to it will have yellow facing towards you. So what you do is you hold it like this, and you do this algorithm. R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. And that solves the top side. Now, the anti-soon is when you have one yellow facing up, but the one directly next to it is facing outwards, like this. Now in this case, you hold it over here, so that the corner that's facing up is now in the top right of the top face, and you do the exact opposite of the algorithm. R, U2, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime. That solves the top face. So that's the cases for the one corner facing up. And now here are the cases for no corners facing up. So in this case, you have two corners that are solved facing upwards are right next to each other. And the other two corners have the yellow sides of the two corners facing this way. So they have headlights facing this way. So what you do is you hold it like this. So these two corners are on top of each other, and then these two headlights are facing out towards the left. And you do F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. Very simple algorithm that we use a lot in the beginner's method. Now on this one, the two corners are adjacent to each other, but the two corners that aren't solved have their yellow sides facing away from each other. So you can see these two yellows are facing away. Now what you do is you hold these two so that they're one on top of another, but instead of on the right side, you hold them so that they are on the left side like this. And you do this. L prime, U prime, L, U, R, U prime, R prime, F. And those are the cases. Now there is also one more case for two corners facing up. And it's this case right here. The two corners that are facing up are diagonal from each other. Now what you're going to do is you hold it like this so that one of the corners is in the bottom right, like this. And then the corner right next to it has the yellow facing towards you. So basically, like this. Just how you see it right here. And you do this algorithm. F, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. And those are all the cases where two corners are facing up. And now here are all the cases where none of the corners are facing up. So in this case, there are no corners facing up, but you have headlights facing in opposite directions. So what you do is you hold it like this, so that the headlights are facing out to the left and to the right. And you do this algorithm. R, U, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R, 2U, R prime. And that solves that. Now there's also this case where none of the corners are facing up top, and you have headlights on one side, but the other two corners are facing away from each other. So what you do, hold it so that the pair of headlights is facing towards the left, and the corners that are facing away from each other are in your right hand, and you do R, U2, R2, U prime, R2, U prime, R2, U2, R. And that solves that. And that's all the cases for the second step. Now the third step is going to be to permute both layers. This can be done with one algorithm, and there are 5 different cases for this step. But first of all, we have to get you familiar with 2 different algorithms. There's this one, which switches 2 adjacent corners, or there's this one, which switches 2 diagonal corners. Now those 2 different cases can appear on either layer. So here we go. If you see this case where one layer is completely solved, but the other layer needs 2 adjacent corners to be switched, what you do is you hold the 2 adjacent corners that need to be switched in your right hand, and you do this algorithm. R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. It's a very long algorithm, but it's actually very finger tricky, and you may recognize it as the T permutation if you use the Friedrich method on the 3x3. Now if you run into this case where there is an entire layer solved, but the other one has 2 corners that need to be switched diagonally, what you do is you hold it so that, or you can actually hold it from any angle you want, and you do this algorithm. F, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R, F prime. That is also very, very long, but you may recognize it as the Y permutation if you use the Friedrich method on the 3x3. Now we're going to move into some different cases where neither of the layers are solved. You may run into this case where both of the layers need to have two adjacent corners switch. See, this one has two solved. These two have to be switched around, like this, on the bottom. These two are solved, and you have to switch these two around. So what you do is you line up the two solved headlights and put them in the back, and you do this algorithm. R2, U prime, R2, U prime, D prime, R2, U prime, R2. Very simple. This next algorithm is the simplest algorithm there is. It involves this. Basically, when both layers have diagonal corners that need to be switched. So, as you can see, this layer, you have to switch the corners diagonally, and this layer you also do. So what you do is you can hold it from any side and you do this extremely short algorithm. R2, B2, R2. That is literally it. That is the whole algorithm to solve that. Now we come to this last case where on one layer you have two corners that need to be switched that are adjacent to each other, but on the other layer you have two corners that need to be switched that are that are diagonal from each other. So what you do, hold it so that this is on the top. Hold it so that the layer that you need to have the adjacent corner switch is on the top and have the solved corners facing towards you. And you do this algorithm. R, U prime, R, F2, R prime, U prime, R prime. And there it is. And that's basically all you really need to know in order to solve the 2x2 with the Ortega method. It is a very simple algorithm, and when practiced, it can be performed extremely fast. Here, I'm going to go ahead and solve it for you. I'm not going to time myself, I'm just going to do a quick solve. See, it's extremely fast. So, yeah, definitely, I do recommend learning this method. So, yeah. So, yeah, hopefully now you guys are extremely fast in the 2x2. I hope now, after watching this tutorial, you guys can be as fast as this guy. Yeah, that's like super duper fast. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and to my friend out there who I bought the 2x2 for, you'll never be as fast as I am. I'm just kidding, maybe one day, but you're gonna have to work really hard. Anyways, see you guys later, and go comment on my Q&A video right now!